Hello, welcome to this episode of the FANMEN podcast. I'm DJ Gove.
Chris Davis.
Sean Hogarty.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, boys.
Today was a lovely, what I like to call a three-quarter day in New England, where we end up with 3 seasons on the same day. We had fall's temperature,
Yeah.
summer's humidity, and spring's overcast and cloudiness.
And I drove through some pretty torrential rains
it rained
for
all freaking
lunch.
day.
Yeah, this morning was ridiculous.
It's like 65, 100% humidity, and rained all day.
And it's one of the weird danger things. I slipped a fair amount, both in my car and walking, because all the leaves are all over the place, and then they're soaking
Everything's
wet.
wet.
Yeah.
Yep, it is. It's like nature's astroglide.
Nature's ass.
I'm not touching that.
Yeah,
No?
no. Mm-mm.
It's slippery.
I've used the phrase backdoor too many times. I can't.
There we go.
I can't opine.
So I'm trying to see if no one really did a lot of shopping this week. So I know Chris is in the process of possibly buying something that
There may be something big to talk about.
we will hate him for, I'm sure.
A couple episodes.
I'm just mad because he won't tell me.
Yeah, I know he's hoarding it. So
We'll see if it
probably get to that in a couple weeks because it's going to be a dandy, I'm sure. So the only thing I got is today I was able to, because I was not able to crack into the first round because the almighty Christopher Davis was on the eBay machine for the first round of the Kevin Smith game-worn jerseys to benefit the Wayne Foundation.
Right.
I was able to swipe
Are you
it.
trying to tell me that I shouldn't have bid on all of them?
No, I'm just saying he drove up the prices so high that the ones that I had to walk down, people were like, oh, I can't afford this one.
He raised money
Yeah.
using other people's
Yeah, the one
wallets,
I wanted
which
was
is one of the
yeah.
best
Yes, I
charity
did.
Which is awesome,
approaches.
yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter, but I was able to get one for round 2. So it wasn't the exact one I wanted off the bat because I already have a blue and orange one from back in the day with a Puck U one. I wanted to get one of the newer black and red ones, but it's all good. I got
What'd you get?
I got the Smodcast one,
The white one?
the white one,
Sir.
which is a very
It's
like
relatively rare.
it is. It's like it's definitely the third alternate jersey that doesn't get worn too often, only on like special matinee games.
Right.
But
So here we're talking about hockey jerseys worn by Kevin Smith. The
Signed.
Wayne Foundation, signed. The Wayne Foundation is a charity we've probably mentioned before, run by Jamie Walton, supported by Kevin. Fantastic charity.
Jamie's great,
Yep.
super nice.
And so they, as somebody who didn't participate in these auctions for multiple reasons, they put a bunch on eBay.
Yep.
And like for a week?
Yeah, they essentially took everything that was on the storefront that still hadn't sold from Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash and put them all on eBay. That was probably 2 weeks ago.
Yep, 2 weeks ago.
There was 12, 14 jerseys,
Yeah,
something like
some
that.
got pretty nuts. So
Like-
she did good.
That's
She did good.
Like I think I saw some well before close in the 600s.
Yeah, I think the one with the Vader voice box crest went for I think 720. I think that was the highest one.
The Vader one went pretty high. The Reverse Flash.
Oh, that one went high too.
Went
That one
pretty
up,
high, too.
in the 7s.
So I bought mine. I have one of the orange and blue ones. I think we've talked about in the past. One of the Smodcastle ones, which I love. It. I'm happy to say that I didn't pay as much as those prices we just mentioned when I bought it from Malcolm Ingram 5
Yeah.
or 6 years ago.
Yeah. So I said, but it's all for charity. I mean, it's for a good cause. So I was allowed to buy as long as I stayed on a certain number, which I did. These ones didn't go for as much because there wasn't like. Well, first off, I think all the heavy hitters
Blew their wads in the
exactly shot
first
their load
round.
on the first
yeah.
round.
Right. I mean, that was thousands of dollars raised for the foundation.
Yeah, which is great. And I mean,
Yeah.
and I think we all like kick her. I try to kick over money whenever we can. I know me and one of the guys online did like a weight loss challenge for it. It was a couple $100 there, and
I don't think I've donated any in quite a while, so I apologize, Jamie. Last time I did.
That was Sean Hogarty talking, Jamie. Sean
Jamie.
with an S.
Yep. Last time, one of the times I did a number of years ago, I ended up Skyping with Jamie for a while, which was pretty cool. That was, she was a lot of fun to talk to, and she's just cool. So definitely, folks, look for ways to donate and help out with that.
Yeah.
You got a
great
few
cause.
extra ducats.
Yep.
Throw it Jamie's way.
yeah, she said good people going for a good cause, and she does the right stuff with it and everything.
So when you guys haven't received your jerseys yet, have you?
I received mine from
From the first
Previous
round?
Yep.
Okay.
Mine, they just ended today. Like I literally was,
Okay.
I was on the treadmill at lunch at the gym running, and I heard that eBay noise to my headphone.
Treadmill, gym. I don't know these words.
It's this robot you run on.
It sounds exhausting.
It is, but I need to, so
Nice.
need to be good. But yeah, I was on the treadmill, and I usually like when I run, I put the hood up on my hoodie, I crank the the metal music, I close my eyes, and I just
Really?
go on the treadmill. Yeah, and I do like uphill and stuff like that. And
Oh my God, if I close my eyes, I'd fall over.
Yeah, I probably would
No.
too.
it's the only way. It takes the if not, I'll sit there stare at the screen, and it just seems like longer than it needs to be. So so I'm sitting there and I'm running, and I'm like, I got Pantera on, and I'm like jamming. All of a sudden, I hear like that little eBay noise, and I'm like, shit!
Woo.
Hit the big like the stop
The
thing on the
stop
treadmill,
button.
pop out, buy a hockey jersey. Okay, I sit down and
Nice.
watch it. Okay, I win. Okay, back to running. So I got my jersey. So
Oh, you're looking slim and fit. I should point out this is the first time I've seen you are wearing what I would call a baseball jersey.
yeah,
I don't know if that's the right word,
Yep.
but
It's
a
a baseball
FANMEN
shirt.
It is.
podcast. It's got a green ring neck and green kind of 3/4 sleeves, and then white with the FANMEN logo on it. And it's pretty sweet looking.
yeah, it's very Benny the Jet Rodriguez. If anyone's ever seen The Sandlot. One thing we do have is we do have a pretty cool logo. If I do say so
yeah,
myself,
I like it.
And if anyone wants a FanMen logo T-shirt or hoodie, they can go to tpublic.com and just search for FanMen and design themselves a shirt.
Eventually, we'll pull that stuff together, but it's
Yeah.
I kind of need one.
Yeah, they're cool. So
Jen, I know I don't need one, but I kind of need one.
Christmas is coming up.
Yeah, that's right.
Perfect stocking stuffer. They can be like, oh, that's a cool logo. What the hell is that? I don't know.
All right, so this is a good buying hunt episode where you guys spend hundreds of dollars and I spend jack. So
There we go.
It's your loving life right now.
yeah, I
Jen's
feel,
liking
I
it
feel
even
pretty
more.
good.
Hi, Jen.
Sean's in the black.
Yeah, I had the first time since we kind of started this a couple months ago, getting used to the fact that my wife actually listens to what we say. And sometimes it's complimentary. Hey, that was funny when you said this, or when Chris said that, or when DJ did this. But how much was that new microphone, stuff like that? We need to work strategically to figure out how to not make my wife ask any more questions.
God bless that she listens, because mine, not a huge fan of my brand of whimsy. So
Yeah.
Yeah, no, mine
Yeah,
actually.
why are you listening, Jen?
Yeah. Mine actually shared I put the link out on Facebook, and my wife actually shared it, and I was like, oh, wow.
I
yeah.
noticed that
That's
was.
kind of
I
nice.
didn't even know she paid. I didn't even know we were
Yeah.
friends on Facebook.
We love you, wives. Yeah. So what are we going to talk about this week?
So it's a slow news week. Actually, we have one quick hit. Sorry. They cast Black Mask for the Birds of Prey movie.
Oh, yes, they did.
So I thought this thing was going to completely fall off the map. I didn't like the casting of the heroine so far, but Ewan McGregor's going to play Black Mask, so I'm in.
And yeah,
We've
Ewan
had
McGregor in anything is good for me.
Is that the second time we're talking? Was he cast in the?
Yeah,
Dr. Sleep?
He's
Yeah, he's
in the
Danny in
Dr.
Dr.
Sleep,
Sleep.
movie. Yeah, so
So I think he's filming that. I think they start in January, I heard, or it's going something like that.
Dr. Sleep or Birds of Prey.
Dr. Sleep.
Okay,
It's coming up, and then they're going to he'll jump into that. So
awesome. Yeah,
Give
that's
me-
cool.
Excellent.
give me more Obi-Wan.
Mhm.
Now he's not singing and dancing like a Moulin Rouge. That was fucking weird. So today, as I said, it was a slow news cycle, so not a lot to talk about currently. So we're going to go dip back into the 80s. We all like movies.
Yes,
I love movies.
I love the '80s.
Me too. I do also like the 80s. I was a little younger in them for the most part, but still love it.
Yeah,
I
actually,
was going to say.
what just general context? What was your experience in the '80s, DJ?
So I was
Like, what was your life? What was your school? You know,
elementary school, lots of video games, lots of cartoons. Like I said before, I was basically raised by a VCR. I've always been a huge movie fan, so I've watched a ton of movies. Stuff we're going to talk about today that you're like, I probably watched when I was 7, 8 years old. I shouldn't have watched this shit when I was 7 or 8 years old.
yeah.
So I had the restrictions was not really there. So I mean,
So
most of
these
this
the days
stuff.
of like Blockbuster and stuff.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
remember.
Oh yeah, we used to actually have to have a video store at the bottom of the street. I would just, we'd walk down to me and my buddies, take the bike down, grab a trash bag full of cans, redeem them at the liquor store, and next to the liquor store
Pay
was a
couple
movie store.
bucks and
Yep,
you're
go
good
rent a
to go.
Nintendo game and a movie.
That's awesome.
So most of this stuff we're going to talk about, I didn't see this like later on in life. This was all real time for me.
Mhm.
So
and in Massachusetts.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Oh, so yeah, I was in Massachusetts all throughout the 80s.
Okay.
I didn't.
So when did you move to Hawaii?
I went, let me think. So freshman year of high school, I was in Massachusetts. The year after that was Texas and Hawaii split, and I was in Hawaii for the next like 3.5, 4 years.
Okay. Which included high school.
Yep, and then ended up
the end
in
of high school.
Yeah, then ended up in Arizona for college.
Okay.
So did a year in middle school in Arizona as well.
Yeah.
So.
How about you, Chris? What is the 80s time frame for you?
80s time frame, it was pretty much all mass. I mean, born and raised in the area, still living in the area. Most of these movies, Sean, you probably had a similar experience. We're a little older than you, so some of these we actually saw in the theater.
Yeah.
More towards the tail end.
Yeah.
There was still any of those early to mid 80s, catching up a lot of HBO, afternoon cable.
I definitely did not do a lot of movie theaters. There was like 4 of us, so going to the movies was not really a thing. So,
but having rental.
Yeah, the only time I got to the movies is like if one of my buddies' parents were taking us, or like if Ninja Turtles came out, my buddy's aunt would take us or something like that.
And in the 80s, a movie theater around here was 2 screens. I mean, they weren't very big.
White City had 3, and that was like the big one.
Mine in high school was 1 screen. So
I think Marlboro had 3. I mean,
now you walk into places,
a much
AMC,
different
there's
experience.
26 of them or something. You know?
So you guys have clean answers. I actually don't remember without thinking about it. I went to high school. I graduated in 89, and I went to high school in Northern California. But before that, I lived in 8th grade in Montgomery, Alabama, 7th grade in 7th and 6th grade in Burke, Virginia. And then where was I before that? Belleville, Illinois, basically for the early 80s. So I've kind of a fragmented experience with it, but the 80s, high school, Northern California, that's kind of my sweet spot.
Yeah. Plus, like, you guys were of the age where when this stuff was coming out, like, this was all like everyone around you was probably watching it. And there's probably a lot of chatter about a lot of these things. And
whereas you were getting it both younger and you were probably alone in some of this consumption.
I was
compared to your peers.
I've always been real close to my uncle.
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 uncles that are both phenomenal, but my uncle Barry, who's my godfather, a little bit closer. So he used to always, we used to watch stuff, and he had like the hot box and everything. So
everybody had an uncle with a hot box.
Oh yeah. So when the stuff would hit like, pay-per-view, and I could watch a little bit, and like I said, we'd rent movies, he'd rent movies for me and stuff like that. And so yeah, but like I love 80s movies. It's possibly the best decade for movies ever. I'm not saying like the quality of the movie, but just like the memorability of the movies.
We're probably biased like that, but
because they were the movies we cut our teeth.
Yeah.
I mean, these were the ones we were experiencing.
And most stuff we're going to talk about in this segment, it's going to be stuff that this isn't going to be a foreign thing to a lot of people. I mean, this is all still stuff that's very highly pop culture relevant.
Yeah, most people are going to listen and say, well, no shit, you like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yes, I mean, let's get the no shit Sherlock ones right off the bat. So they didn't all come out in the 80s, but Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi,
mm-hmm.
2 of the Holy 3. Empire considered by a very large majority of the Star Wars fan base to be the best Star Wars movie.
Yeah,
personally, I'm a New Hope guy, but it's a 1 beat.
I mean, I've tried to think about that at various times to see
I still fall in
how much I think of that,
camp.
But I just remember Empire, Hoth, the snow, the walkers, that rooted it for me, and then everywhere else it went on top of that.
Well, and I think some of it was Empire was the first one I saw on the big screen.
Mm-hmm.
That would do it.
So what they did when they released Empire, they re-released Star Wars. That thing's been back in theaters. A New Hope's been back in theaters a dozen times. So Dad took me to see Empire, and then it was probably a year or 2 later that I saw Star Wars, New Hope on the big screen before Jedi came out. So it's that first one. It was kind of the gateway drug. It's the first one you experienced, and it's always going to have that spot.
I have a permanent bitterness because my uncle caused us to be late to Empire Strikes Back.
Okay, now we're into the bad uncle phase.
Yeah, so
this isn't the one with the hot boxes letting you watch.
No, I didn't have a hot box uncle, but yeah, we we showed up, and Luke was hanging in the Yeti, damn it,
Wampa
cave.
Wampa
yeah,
cave.
I would have gotten there. I work with a guy named Yeti, and so it's
there you go.
Stuck there. But
I have a coffee cup named Yeti.
So does he, which is logical. But yeah, so that sticks with me. But Empire is unassailable and probably doesn't need further discussion.
No,
but is
nothing Star. I mean, Star Wars is.
It's the context for every other sci-fi movie in the 80s, right? In terms of when was it? When was Empire? Empire was 1980.
Yeah,
It was
That was
dead.
that
It
early,
opened
huh?
the
Jedi
80s.
was
Yeah.
80. Jedi was 84.
4?
Jedi was 84.
Yeah.
Blue Harvest.
Yeah. We had Mad Max in 1980.
That's a good one.
Also, one that was technically 79, but I experienced it in the 80s. And I don't remember, I can't imagine I saw this in the theater, but I actually might have, which means my mom was a bad parent. But there's Time After Time. You ever seen that one?
No.
Malcolm McDowell as H.G. Wells going after Jack the Ripper in late 70s Los Angeles.
I'm sorry, what?
Mary Steenburgen as his girlfriend that he meets there. You know,
As DJ and I are taking notes here.
yeah,
It's getting
so-
watched this week. I've never heard of this.
it's fantastic. And you as a Back to the Future guy, it's Mary Steenburgen. Let's just say it's flipped. I won't spoil it for you.
Okay.
But she falls in love with a man out of time.
Ooh.
And
Speaking of her, sidetrack. If you watch her back in the 80s, like I remember her from Parenthood, and you watch her like say go through Back to the Future, and then later on when she was in like Step Brothers, when she was on Last Man on Earth, I don't think there's a human being on the planet who's like aged as well as she does.
oh yeah,
She is like she's in her 60s and she is still a knockout.
she's in her 60s.
I think so. Yeah, late 50s, early 60s.
Yeah,
And she's actually gotten like hotter as the years go on. I don't know. I just side note.
I just she's always a good sign in a
Yeah,
production.
yeah. That's I've never heard of that one. That one's getting watched. After time.
So which other? I mean,
So-
I've got a bunch.
Oh,
that
I've
stick
got a
out
bunch.
For me,
Yeah,
so.
yeah. So and the thing is, too, is like we're gonna try to cover all the 80s genres as we go through this, and most of the things in the 80s could fall left or right depending on what side of your line. So here's one that could fall sci-fi or it could fall comedy. But I'm talking about now, possibly one of my favorite 80s movies, Weird Science.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer. Yeah, that's a Mount Rushmore movie, so it's great. Kelly O'Brock obviously was,
Yeah.
big. Anthony Michael Hall was awesome. Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton.
Yeah, Bill Paxton.
Um,
The late, great Bill
Chet.
Paxton.
Chet. The one they
That was
determined
about a
they
greasy pork sandwich.
served in a dirty ashtray. That movie it's just so quotable. I took up the adult. Robert Downey Jr.'s in it.
Robert Downey Jr.'s in it?
Yeah,
is.
He is. Yeah, he's one of the two dickheads that Max Neal got.
Oh,
Toads at
yeah.
our party, yeah.
Yeah, I need to go back and watch
Yeah,
that.
and the scene, I just remember like, I used to laugh. I didn't know why it was funny, probably because there's a lot of curse words and stuff, but I still laugh now. And actually, I've talked to him about the scene because we were out drinking one night, me and Anthony Michael Hall.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The whole jazz club scene when he is just loaded.
Worst bend is.
Bitch, need my nuts, man. Just such a great movie. So funny. It still holds up to this day. So I think a lot of these movies actually still hold up pretty well. So
Yeah,
Weird Science
I
is
would
one
agree.
of them.
Yeah, you can rewatch a lot of these.
How about you, Chris?
In terms of 80s movies, I mean, anything in the Hughes canon.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just work your way right through.
Hold on,
I mean,
we're talking sci-fi
Yeah, but
here.
for sci-fi stuff.
sci-fi?
Yeah.
We're jumping there. I'm all over the place here.
Yeah, jump sci-fi.
I'd have to go back to, I mean, you have Blade Runner, you have this.
Blade Runner
That's-
is definitely on my list.
If we've kind of already touched on the Star Wars,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so that
Blade
kind of
Runner.
falls right
Blade-
there in that.
Blade
spot.
Runner, I had this weird thing where I collected movie novelizations, right? I had the paperbacks. And so I couldn't, you couldn't really buy VHSs when I started doing this, but I could buy the paperbacks and feel like I had the movies and read and live through that stuff. So many of them were written by Alan Dean Foster.
I think I had some of those same books.
But I had, so the Philip K. Dick book, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, the basis for Blade Runner. So they released that with the Blade Runner poster on it, the Blade Runner art and logo and stuff like that. And so I read it before I was ever able to see the movie.
Well, I was going to say, I was going to ask that question. I know, and we talked about this on a previous episode. We started reading things
Early.
probably
Yeah.
earlier than
Oh,
we
yeah.
should have
Yes.
with some of these. Those books were a little bit of a gateway to some of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
as soon as those paperbacks were coming out with the movie poster on the front, that was kind of
Yeah, it got you
the way
reading.
of getting into
yeah.
some of these stories.
Yeah, I was already reading it, but
Your parents
that
weren't going to
definitely
complain if you were reading,
did.
They might not let you see the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
but you could get the same.
How about Last Starfighter? Anyone heard of Big Last Starfighter?
That,
Huge.
yes. Yeah. The watching it more recently, it's kind of cheesy and kind of derivative, but it mixed in the trailer park kid who wants to get out of the small town and this space adventure and video games. And I mean, it's just had so many, was it somebody in the Kodan Armada or I don't remember.
Yeah, I remember all the terminology. I just remember watching that. I used to watch that, and I used to watch War Games a lot, which War Games, you could kind of maybe miss. It's probably more drama action than sci-fi.
Yeah, but it's got
there's some
tech
sci-fi
elements.
there. I mean,
How about
that's what made me want a computer in the first place.
Yeah.
The first modem with the damn dial-up telephone.
Yeah. How about Enemy of Mine?
Enemy of Mine was fantastic. Yep.
That was a good one.
Tron.
Yep. Tron is great. I love Tron.
Con.
I never watched the Star Trek stuff till later on in life, but yeah, Wrath of Khan is a crazy good movie.
I mean,
So where do you? Oh, good. Sorry.
I was to say the original Star Trek movie was like 79 or something like that.
Yep.
I think
That sounds right. Yeah.
but
And it bombed.
Wrath of Khan came out, and I saw Star Trek
what was that? About 80?
82.
It was that quick, huh?
Yep. And it, I watched the first Star Trek movie. I remember sitting there as a kid and loving seeing the lush, giant new Enterprise, and it was fantastic. But watching Wrath of Khan was just this energetic, dramatic, holy crap, Captain Kirk's cheesy, but now he's in this non-cheesy. I don't know. It was fantastic.
I remember seeing the scene when he puts the worms in the helmets with the Chekhov.
Geez, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was bad
Whoa,
news.
You mentioned that. I still have the visual
Yeah.
of a crawling.
Oh yeah, Star Trek's not that lame anymore.
So where do you guys come down on Buckaroo Banzai?
That's a good one. So
It is good. It's definitely sci-fi. I watched it when I was younger. Didn't get it at all.
Yeah.
It's a tough get.
We didn't get it until college.
I
And
don't
I
think
still
I
don't know if I
watched
fully.
Yeah, I
You don't
don't.
think you've ever seen it?
No, I didn't watch it until I think college, maybe on VHS, rented from some thing on the street. But I enjoy it. John Lithgow, different aspects of it.
Jeff Goldblum,
Yeah,
Cowboy Jeff Goldblum.
but I honestly don't really like it. It's not my cup of tea, but it clearly counts, and it's influential and
It's
important.
one that people either love or hate.
Yeah.
There doesn't seem to be a middle ground with that.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it. I've tried to, especially recently, the last 5 years, I've tried to force myself to like it because I know it's a big Kevin movie.
Yeah.
And I can't do it. I can't. I understand why people do like it, but it's just
That could be a time and place thing too. He's enough older than us that
exactly. It probably is. Like if I saw that fresh when I was 13 in the theater, I'd probably think, oh, this is the coolest thing ever. It's all off the wall and everything. But
I mean, you guys will laugh at my top one, but I'd go E.T.
No, that's
see, I don't like
laughing.
E.T. I hate E.T.
And E.T., you're talking
You're an
80, 82?
Yeah.
So I'm
it's as old
8
as me.
years old going to see this in the theater.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
probably one of the first big movies that I've gone to see.
Mhm.
I don't like to cry at the movies, and E.T. makes me cry.
Well, yeah, but it's also, I remember being affected by hearing, I think it was Henry Thomas, the kid, is that he?
Mm-hmm.
Hearing him call his sister, or somebody called somebody penis breath. And that was a foundational thing for me because I don't.
Did he call his older brother? I can
Somebody
remember.
called somebody
Is
penis
it around the
breath,
dinner table?
dude. That's-
There's a little argument.
Yes, and I don't know why that stuck with me, but that was one of the. I'm sure I'd heard profanity or something at that point, right? I was 11 or 12, but I'd never heard creative, random dick joke profanity, and it's just always stuck with me.
Yeah. I mean, obviously E.T. is a phenomenal movie, and
Yeah.
I think it was just, I saw it when I was, about 6.
Yeah,
And it was just what it was too, is I think by the time I was 6 or 7, when I saw E.T., I was so deep in the Star Wars stuff. I was like,
that's also a weird age to watch it. I think
It
right?
is.
It's,
It is because it's like I said, I don't like to cry movies. I get tugged on the heartstrings enough where it's I don't like to be super sad when I watch movies. That's why they're not really sci-fi movies, they're cartoons. Like in the 80s, the Land Before Time movies and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
I can't watch any of that stuff anymore because I don't want to be it takes me back to when I was a kid and I remember crying in the on the couch. I don't want to be sad watching movies.
Well, there's a couple more that I'd pluck out on.
Well, I'm gonna jump.
Oh yeah, go.
I would jump from Buckaroo Banzai. So probably one of the kings of 80s sci-fi, RoboCop.
Oh yeah, yes,
Oh, sure.
absolutely.
RoboCop movie is almost flawless.
I don't think I saw that until the 90s.
I
Because
saw it when I was 7. Once again, a movie
Dude,
I should
that's-
not have
yeah.
watched when I was 7.
That's a hard.
Have you seen the
R.
uncut
Oh,
X-rated
yeah.
version?
Yeah.
Yeah, this
They-
movie awesome.
They dropped it on Amazon.
Really?
The uncut version was on Prime Video by mistake for a week or so.
It's just, it's got everything like a kid could want: guns, robots, more robots, more guns, claymation or stop motion animation.
Predator.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one.
I did see that in the theater. And you've got Arnie and a badass alien.
Was that about 86? That was after Terminator, right?
87.
87?
It was after Terminator was
Terminator
84, and that was also, that I don't remember when I saw that, but I remember seeing and reading about it. I think I read about it in what's the cinematography magazine? So you got Fangoria for the gore, you got Starlog for the sci-fi stuff. I read that, and then American Cinematographer, maybe. It's kind of a horizontal format, thick, Okay.
Yeah, these were all ones that I saw on VHS
Yeah.
after the fact. Dad would let me see these.
See, I saw Predator. Like, it's weird. Like Predator, I don't think I was allowed to watch. All my friends had seen it, and I was told, no, you can't watch that. And I'm like, but I watched all this other shit.
God.
Like,
Yeah.
Dad couldn't wait to bring it home. It's got
I think,
Apollo Creed in it. It's got Jesse the Body in it.
I think someone had told my mom or my girlfriend, whoever told me I couldn't watch, about the skin guy. The guy gets skinned.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that was probably what set over the edge. I wanted to see it because, the Terminator was in it. I've seen Terminator at that point in time, but it's like, as we talked about, I'm a big wrestling guy.
Oh,
Jesse Ventura.
Jesse the Body Ventura carrying a gun of all guns.
The Vulcan, which I actually have the Nerf version of it. And I actually have the instructions. I could make a chest mount for it, but he's got like the best line. Probably,
That's awesome.
He's got one of the best lines in movies, that I ain't got time to bleed.
Yeah.
I love that line. It's still great.
That's good.
Yeah, Predator was an awesome one. How about let's see. Another
I got
one
two major ones.
Yeah, we're
let's see
a
if
big
you'll
one
get
that
to
I
it.
have. Yeah.
So
All right.
I was trying to go more off the wall with some of the stuff. So one that once again could fall half sci-fi, half action. Escape from New York,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
because it's kind of dystopian. I kind of count that as sci-fi.
Yep.
Yeah, no. Okay.
I don't think I saw that until like college or even after.
I saw
It was late. I never saw it.
Yeah.
It was years and years later.
I saw it when Escape from LA came out.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's when I saw it.
And I was like, oh, there's a first one. Let's go watch that. And
Yeah.
I kind of was like, it was Carpenter. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I like his
Yep.
stuff a lot. So I can talk about how much I like Halloween, the way it's filmed and everything.
Oh, yeah.
So
So
that's a great one.
What were you thinking of, Chris?
Aliens.
Yeah. So that was that was one of them.
It's that's one of my two. There's two big that
I can't remember if I saw Aliens before I saw Alien. I think I probably did.
I saw Aliens
Yeah.
first and then went back and saw
Yeah.
Alien after.
I saw Aliens after. So as we talked about,
We've touched
DJ,
upon it.
DJ don't do the scary.
Alien,
it's-
it's
But I went
that
back.
one still
I remember
bugs me.
I went back and watched Aliens because of two main things. One, there used to be an Alien arcade game.
Yeah.
That was like a beat 'em up.
You mean in the arcade,
arcade.
or on Sega? Because the Alien 3 Sega game was a favorite.
Yeah, no, I was gonna. No, this was like Aliens. It was before 3 came out. So it was, when Aliens came out, they did an arcade game, and it was like a side-scrolling beat 'em up kind of game where you just walked around and punched aliens.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then the figures came out. I think it was it Toy Wiz made them maybe, or maybe LJN, but they had the figures came with all the cool guns and stuff like that, and they had Corporal Hicks. And I was like, oh, Corporal Hicks is like a bad dude. And Corporal Hicks
Michael
is
Bean.
Corporal Hicks is a very cool movie character. So I started watching it for that. Got through it with fast forwarding through some parts and closing my eyes because I said I didn't like scary at the time. I've watched it fully since then, and I do like
Queens
it.
dropping out of the ceiling.
Game
or
over,
anything
man.
Like that.
Game over.
Yeah, no. But I wish I wasn't such a bitch when I was a little kid. Because if I had been and I got hooked, like all my buddies love it.
Yeah.
And I always get scared too easy. But if I had watched it when I was like 9 and could get through without being scared shitless, I would have liked it a lot more because it's an awesome movie. It really
It's
is.
got military.
badass.
Yeah.
It's got action. It's got Sigourney Weaver as
Yeah, she's all. The other thing too is like I have like this. We'll get to one of these. I have this disdain for like James Cameron movies.
Wow. Yeah. We're
I
going
don't
to
know
need
why.
to revisit
That's going to
that.
be a whole episode.
I don't know why. I don't get the James Cameron thing. I'm like, yeah. But
Chris and Sean beat up DJ. The James Cameron episode.
the James Cameron episode.
coming soon.
I don't know if I feel that strongly, but
Yeah. No,
I'm just
but
not.
it's,
I just don't get it. Like Avatar, Titanic.
you know why I'm a James Cameron fan, and it is rooted in his 80s movies. That was actually one of the ones I was going to hit, The Abyss. And it actually gets to the heart of why I'm such a fan of those movies and James Cameron. And I realize it has little to do with, right? It has much less to do with the movies, the story, and the content, which I actually am a fan of, but because I'm a production geek, right? And so the Abyss in particular, the story of the production of The Abyss, the fact that they actually shot it underwater in millions of gallons of, in an empty nuclear cooling tank in Gaffney, Georgia, right? It's the documentary Under Pressure, the making of The Abyss. It's an hour-long thing. It was on the DVD or Blu. You must watch it. It is why I like James Cameron.
I've never seen that movie.
Asshole.
Really?
He's a perfection. He freaking dove. He found the Titanic and dove to the bottom of the freaking ocean to shoot parts of a movie. I mean,
I know.
That's why I like James Cameron.
They make fun of him on South Park. You ever seen
Well,
it?
yeah.
The thing with Cameron, and it's much the same thing with Lucas. What I don't particularly love all of Cameron's movies. There's certainly ones that I do enjoy a great deal. It's the fact that he has enough vision that I have things in my head that we haven't even invented yet.
Yeah.
As we're going through this production, I got to figure out how I'm going to get what's in my head right now onto the screen for you to enjoy. And that the documentary is a perfect example of it. The lengths he's gone to for Avatar, the years of pre-production to get to what Pandora would look like on screen. And some of that, I'm very impressed with that kind of stuff.
He's driven, like, you're right, like Lucas, he has driven technology for production, not just technology for CG.
That's probably the closest comparison I could come to. I mean, the reason you have Industrial Light and Magic now is because Lucas needed things to make his movies that
he needed to make
didn't have
spaceships.
before.
He needed spaceships to
And
fly.
now everybody's using Industrial Light.
Pixar. Don't forget, George Lucas created Pixar. Let's not forget that.
Yep, absolutely.
You don't have The Incredibles and Toy Story if it wasn't for George Lucas.
No, exactly.
Yeah, it's not. So just we'll circle back on. So everyone doesn't. I don't get murdered. It's not a lack of respect thing for Cameron. I'm just not a fan.
If anybody wants,
and that's what I realized is.
So I'd never seen The Abyss, so I will.
You watch The Abyss.
It's
and watch
spooky, right?
No,
it looks spooky.
No, so there's the original theatrical version. I suggest you watch the special edition or the director's cut, which
it's worth the watch.
It's worth the watch.
Really is.
But it's just you'll love it, DJ.
Is that Andy McDowell in that?
No, it's
Oh, Julia Roberts.
Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio. Yeah.
Okay.
Ed Harris, Michael Biehn, bunch. I mean, it's
a bunch of those guys.
Fantastic.
You'll recognize.
Yeah. It is a quintessential 80s movie that is sci-fi, but yeah.
I think I was thinking of Flatliners, the original Flatliners.
I mean,
that's 90 though, but that's what movie I
was that 91?
90. I think
90, 91.
I had that movie box in my head when I was
I love Flatliners. We'll get to that in another episode.
Spaceballs.
So
Spaceballs, another one you could ride the
comic. Go either way. I got one that was kind of, and this is in your wheelhouse with the love of wrestling. They Live.
Oh yeah, They Live.
See, not one I saw.
It is one of my guilty pleasures. That was like what John Wick is now. If it's on, I'm going to get sucked into it.
Really,
I will watch They Live over and over and over.
We just talked about I ain't got time to bleed. I think someone decided to give the wrestlers the best lines of the 80s because I'm here to kick ass and chew bubblegum and all the bubblegum.
A lot of bubblegum.
Or here's a weird off the wall one another one that I had. I mean, you think I shouldn't be watching Terminator and RoboCop at 7 years old?
No.
Under no circumstance on God's green earth should I have seen the Toxic Avenger when I was 7 or 8 years old.
That's
in any of the trauma movies, but I ended up watching all that shit.
We could have touched on him for the shared univeres last.
We could have the trauma stuff.
So you could have. I don't think I've actually seen. I certainly have seen clips. I'm aware of the characters. I'm aware of Lloyd Kaufman. But I am actually not. I'm not sure I've ever actually watched one of those.
I saw the movie because the trauma movies are. They're bad. I mean,
they're awful,
and they have everything that
on purpose.
On purpose,
exactly.
Yes.
That's what makes them.
They contain every element of stuff that a small child shouldn't see in movies. Dismemberment, death,
gore,
tits
boobs.
left and right. Yeah. But somehow they got the Toxic Crusader into an animated series, an awesome one too, an awesome one. So I went back. I was like, oh my god, there's a live action Toxie movie. Heaven and earth, I need to see this. Not a good idea.
Yeah.
Learned a lot of stuff I didn't want to know.
It was a great era. Technically, it also included Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
Yep.
Star Trek 4.
Yep.
Voyage. The Voyage Home. I mean,
touch back on some of the Stephen King stuff too. The Running Man.
That's actually my absolute favorite sci-fi movie in the 80s. Is Running Man.
See, I had actually read read the actual book.
That ties back in.
Right.
That was one of those paperbacks
Yes.
that I had with the cover of the movie poster on the cover.
But I read it. It was one of
the short stories.
It was
right?
it was a Richard Bachman short story, I think, not published under Stephen King. And I think it was in a Bachman Books collection.
Was it in the Bachman
Long Walk?
Books?
Or I think, was there a collection called the Bachman Books?
There was one called the Bachman Books.
That's probably it then. But I had read it before it ever came on. And yeah, that's a great one.
I love that movie. I don't know what's like, the characters are great in it.
I should rewatch it.
Was it Buzzsaw, Fireball, Electro, and
again, there's
Dr.
Jesse the
Sub-Zero.
Body.
Dr. Sub-Zero.
Dr. Sub-Zero,
Richard
which was
Dawson hosting. I mean, it was perfect.
yeah, oh yeah, Richard Dawson hosting, Jesse Ventura.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to Kevin LaFleur is the security guard in the
It was.
I need to go back and
ties
watch that.
together.
kicking, yep. So I think he was one of Arnie's buddies from Mr. Universe, I think, right? So yeah, so we just threw a bunch of stuff out there. So give me what's like probably if you had to pick one sci-fi movie to go watch right now from the 80s, which one that we talked about, what would you want to what now we talked about, what do you want to go watch the most again?
I mean, for me, it might be The Abyss, just because I'm reminded of how much I love it. Though all the others, it's a tough call. No, Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home.
The whale movie?
Because that one I haven't actually seen in the longest time. And I met James doing, no, it wasn't. So in the prep to that movie, they came to where I worked, because I worked with whales and dolphins at Marine World Africa USA in Vallejo, California. I haven't thought about this. James Doohan came, Shatner came, though I wasn't there that day. And so I was aware of it before it happened. And so that was just a big deal.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
I was going back to watch one now. It'd probably be the original Terminator. That's probably the one that's been the longest since I've sat down and watched that.
I've seen that
start
a
to
bunch.
front. Yeah. Always had a soft spot for it, but I haven't seen it in forever.
Yeah. For me, even though like I put weird signs on the Mount Rushmore, like now that we've talked about a lot of the other like more like serious movies, I'm probably gonna go back and watch. It's probably gonna be Running Man. I love that movie. Movie's awesome. Absolutely awesome. So I'm gonna watch Running Man this weekend. So I have it. So
excellent.
Cool. So that was our little sci-fi roundtable. We're gonna jump into the FANMEN top 3 for this week. So we're gonna stick in the 80s and we're gonna stick with movies. We're going to go scores from movies. These are not soundtracks. These are the scores. So the majority of the album or music in the movie can't have words. We're just doing musical stuff for right now. So just because there's so much good stuff from the decade, we have to split up as much as we can. Oh, by the way, also, I know I did not mention Back to the Future. That's a given.
Well, yeah.
We were kind of waiting for that from you.
I don't want to keep hammering the dead horse with Star Wars and Back to the Future, but so it's a given.
So I'm torn about what should be my number 3. I'm going to pick one that I know you guys would never pick, just to be out of left field. It's technically not one I think I heard in the 80s, but it's from the 80s. You guys familiar with Philip Glass, the composer?
Yes.
All right. So it's a movie called Koyaanisqatsi. And so it's a weird kind of time lapse, environmental urban landscape weird thing that has a score that is challenging. Like a big piece of it is literally Koyaanisqatsi. I mean, it's just, yeah. But for me, really into a wide variety of music, composition, I almost minored in music, even though I have a geek degree. And it was a foundational score for me, and you guys would never touch on it. So I'm going to throw it out there as something you guys should listen to and go, Hoger, do you like some weird crap?
So this is the audio head talking.
Yeah.
Okay. Sweet. Never heard that.
And the visuals are, it's just.
So what's it called again?
Strange.
It's called
Koyaanisqatsi. Koyaanisqatsi, I think.
Well, it's going deep cuts right off the bat. Seriously. I like it.
Well, it's a good number 3. You'd
there
never
you go.
pick it.
You guys are going to notice a theme through all of mine.
Mine
The more
too.
I thought about this, it all came back to the same guy. It's really how I'm racking and stacking. So for my number 3, I'm going to go with The Witches of Eastwick.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Nice.
That's one of those, comedy, little fantasy there, but that's one of those, the music in that movie.
Shot near here,
Always.
not too far away.
It was shot very close to here, Mass, but that's one of those, the music always stuck with me. And usually in comedies and things like that, it's just background noise,
Yeah.
right? It's like the background in like Ferris Bueller or something like that. There's something going on in the background where you're really not focusing on it. For that one, it kind of made the movie for me.
So I can't remember who composed that, but I have a weird connection to that score. When I worked at Marine World, I worked in show productions, running the music and the mics and stuff for all the live shows. And we usually pulled the soundtracks for the different shows from either production libraries or scores. Most of the actual good scores were CDs put out by this label, Varis Saraband. I don't know how you pronounce it, but the Witches of Eastwick score had a couple of tracks that we used in either our Whale and Dolphin show or in the Bird show.
And actually, Mr. John Williams.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, what was it?
It was.
I should know that. That was Minor Williams in the world of Major Williams. So that's
it was, yeah. It's one of his lesser.
So now I need to go back and listen and figure out which show and which track. But that's awesome.
That's good. So none of mine are going to be imaginative or deep. So
the rest of mine aren't. But
DJ.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I usually like to try to go at least off the wall with one or two, but mine are all pretty much just, they're, like I said, they're all up front in the spotlight. Number 3, I'm going the Tron soundtrack or score from Tron. I saw that movie at my grandmother's house on VHS. She used to just buy all the Disney movies to keep from me and my cousins. And that was kind of what started the whole computer thing with me. I'm an IT guy now. I love computers, love video games, and Tron was it. It was like the guy goes in the computer. And it was like, whoa, I want to go in a fucking computer. But the music is just awesome. It's very cool. It's very, very 80s.
It's very 80s, very analog synth. But what's special about that score to me is it's composed by Wendy Carlos, one of the foremost users of synthesizers. She did something called Switched on Bach and a whole lot of other classical music, painstakingly constructed over multiple tracks, playing, analog, modular synth, stuff like that. What's also interesting about her is that she was Walter Carlos when she first did those records. So she was one of the first people I can remember in public life that I learned was, had transitioned. And that's, that's kind of a big deal because that score and actually her score to The Shining.
I know it was the same person.
Yeah, same. And Clockwork Orange.
Ooh.
Oh, no
right.
kidding.
That William Tell overture that she did.
Yeah.
So just
I picked a good one.
fantastic. Yeah, you picked
Excellent.
a fantastic one, more so than you knew.
Yeah, I just
Sean's eyes started bugging out as soon as you said it.
That's what's cool with this one. Is Sean's
Yeah.
got all the musical background, but yeah, I just like because I said I love the movie, and I just remember, even when I got the DVD when the DVD first came out, because like the anniversary, like a decade ago, or whatever, I was like, I throw it on and. The menu has like the main Tron theme on loop. I could sleep to that. I could just fall asleep to that and sleep right through it. It's just good music.
I have the white big box Laserdisc collector's edition of Tron. Yeah,
such a good soundtrack. In fact, like I'm hoping that I know there will be because there's some in Shanghai. But when the Tron ride is done at Disney World,
they're doing a ride.
The light cycle.
Oh yeah, the light cycle roller coaster. Where you ride a light cycle at 60 miles an hour.
Well, that
They're
sounds
working
safe.
on it right now.
No, it's
Cranes
they've
working
had it in Shanghai since launch. It's the most spectacular thing you've ever seen. But even though, like, I guess on the ride, there's the box where like Daft Punk is up in the box.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of the Tron 2 music. All the waiting queue, it's a lot of the Tron 1 stuff.
That's awesome.
That's
I'm very
tremendous.
excited.
Yeah, I'm into that. All right, that's a cool pick.
Yeah. Dose.
So Dose, my number 2, a little more in the 80s heartland, but hits on a number of other cylinders for me. Top Gun.
Oh, the score part
The
of it.
score to
yeah.
Top Gun. Can either of you remember
Yeah.
who did it?
No, I remember how it goes. It's the.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the themes. Yeah.
Yeah. Was that? Did Kenny Loggins do the score too?
No, Kenny Loggins obviously had some of the key soundtracks.
Yeah.
You know, Danger Zone and Playing with the Boys. You know, the gay volleyball song. Awesome. So
R.I.P. Goose.
R.I.P. Goose. Too soon, man. So the score to Top Gun, Harold Faltermeyer. Harold Faltermeyer.
I'm going to hit on another one.
Yeah. Okay, then I won't go that far, but I'll say Harold Faltermeyer. Again, I'm a big synth kid, keyboard player since I could breathe. And Harold Faltermeyer, his scores set a tone for me, both in terms of using synthesizers musically, not just as accents and other things, using synth drums mixed in there, really interesting rhythmic and stuff. And I know what Chris is going to talk about, so I'll leave that to him. But I will say that Harold Faltermeyer being used as the composer for Cop Out, the movie that Kevin Smith directed a while ago. The movie is okay, but the score is amazing. So
My number 2 is in that same wheelhouse.
mhm.
And it's the main thing. It's Axel F from Beverly Hills Cop.
Mhm.
That
one song.
That one song is perfect.
Yeah.
And as soon as you hear just the first 2 notes, I mean, you're do 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 do.
Yep. F, A flat, F. Yeah, I know the whole thing. Yeah.
The first ringtone I ever created on my Nokia 3390 back in the day was Beverly Hills Cop.
Was it?
Yeah, it was the easiest one to do.
That was
Yeah.
that was probably the first dirty comedy. That's
Yeah.
that was one of those guilty pleasures that Dad let you watch on VHS when Mom wasn't around.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, as soon as you said his name,
the tones, the bass tones he used, I think it might have been like a Jupiter 8 or a Jupiter 3, a Roland synth, had just such amazing tones. That song charting as an instrumental. I mean, you hadn't had a lot of
It was like-
instrumental.
that was one of the first vinyls I bought.
Yeah.
Oh,
wasn't,
yeah?
I bought the Beverly Hills Cop soundtrack just for that song.
wasn't that like the first ever like instrumental song to crack the Billboard top 10 or something like that?
No. You had the disco version of Star Wars. You had Fifth of Beethoven, which was the disco version of Beethoven.
I thought there was there was some milestone-y thing for it. I thought maybe it had the most weeks or something like that. I don't know.
I'm sure it has some kind of record, but yeah, this wasn't an era where Popcorn. You remember the song Popcorn from like the 70s? There were previous instrumental and
Axel F was a top 10. I mean that.
Oh yes,
It may have hit number 1. I'm not positive.
I don't know,
But that
It's
movie was
fantastic.
huge. I mean,
Yeah. All right, DJ, what's your number 2?
Number 2, I'm going with. I mean, you could do any of the 3, but I'm going to start. I'll go with Raiders of the Lost Ark. So, Indiana Jones's main theme, the first 3 bars, and you know exactly what's coming. It's John Williams again, the goat of film composers. Like I said, you could go any of them. To me, I don't, except for like maybe a couple of the creepy parts of Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
I think much like Star Wars, it's the same songs, just kind of like dragged out in different ways throughout the 3 movies.
Thematically used.
Yeah. That's just actually, I think that's what he's the best at. Is you get a little
his themes. I mean, even to recent days, Harry Potter. You just need a few notes of that, and it's
you know exactly what it is.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And that is a special talent of his.
Yeah, I remember you brought that up. So just how good he is. I remember. I didn't know when the Fantastic Beasts movie came out. So Harry Potter's done. My wife and daughter are huge Harry Potter people. My wife's, she's a book person. She's not so much a movie person. They loved Harry Potter. When Fantastic Beasts came out, because I read all the websites, they don't. They had no idea the thing was coming.
Yeah.
When the trailer came out, I knew exactly what it was.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't tell them. I was like, hey, there's this new movie coming. You guys might like it. They're like, okay, whatever. And they're both playing on their phone, whatever. And as soon as it starts off, it's just a black screen, and you hear the dun dun, and
You just get the first few
like
bars.
like a puppy who hears a cheese wrapper open, their ears perk up.
I like the reference.
Yeah, it's exactly what it was. It was like
You painted a good visual there.
it was just all of a sudden they're locked in because it's same thing when Force Awakens came back out.
Yeah.
She was at Trailhead and you heard the first you even think about it now, you can just close your eyes and you get the shivers and you know what it is. It's Star Wars. So. His stuff's the best. So
Yep. No,
Yeah,
no
so
question.
I say it could be any of the three, but we'll go Raiders.
But no, go Raiders, because that march
The OG.
is excellent. All right, so number one, got one that's a little bit off, and then I've got an honorable mention. But my number one is The Princess Bride, scored by Mark Knopfler. All right, one of the first times I remember, right? I knew who Mark Knopfler was. Love his playing in Dire Straits. His guitar work is so distinctive, so evocative, and it's fantastic. He did the score he did to The Princess Bride is a mix of relatively like low end production of synths and stuff like that, synth strings, and I mean, if you listen to it, the tones are not what you would normally associate with a motion picture score of a major motion picture, but then his guitar playing over it and the fact that he composed the whole thing, it's just that movie, which is one of my top 2 or 3 movies ever.
Movie might be perfect.
Yeah, the movie, it might be
it's
perfect. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it.
The book, which is the screenplay, William Goldman, is a perfect piece of creative art.
It is.
But part of it is that if you listen to his score and you're a fan of that movie, you hear, you know every line that's around those notes and where it comes in the movie, and the so that one.
That's a good one.
And I'll come back to my honorable mention later.
I didn't even think about that one, to be honest with you. Yeah. That's a good one.
Excellent. Well, I kind of threw an audible because I think I was going down a certain track with, there was definitely a theme with the top 3, and I've kind of shifted on 2 and 1 because I think you and I, DJ, would have been pretty much in lockstep. I think we had them flip-flopped.
Yep.
But for my number one, I think I'm going to go with what was probably the most memorable piece of movie score that came out of the 80s, the Chariots of Fire theme.
Oh!
That touches
That's
on
one of
my honorable mentions.
Look at this
Everybody,
guy.
I mean, I kind of in the same vein as the Axel F, like
also
the
charted
certain songs. It did.
Yeah, it did. It did.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one, as soon as you play a couple bars, everybody immediately knows
Yep. Olympics.
what that is.
They think Olympics.
You got the
basically.
shot of them running on the beach, the whole thing.
Vangelis, thick analog brass sounds with piano overlaid into it. And just fantastic call.
And I'm going to save my honorable mention. We'll come back to that after.
So, as we talked about, like I said, no hiding this. Number one is Empire Strikes Back.
Yes.
I mean, if for no other reason, so, I mean, like I said, you could say that the music is similar to Jedi, but Jedi has the Nub Nub song, and Empire has the Han and Princess Leia's love theme, which is phenomenal. It's, I mean, it's, if we're talking about perfect movies, Empire Strikes Back is almost perfect movie too, but it's any of the Star Wars music. I've talked before, like I can hear two or 3 bars from a song, close my eyes, and I can speed run through the movie. I know all the dialogue. It's Star Wars is life. So my lack of imagination has gotten Empire Strikes Back. I do also have an honorable mention, which is kind of.
Do you want to start us off, or you want to?
I can do that. So it's weird. So mine, and I'm kind of breaking my own rules on this one. It's considered.
How dare you, sir?
It's categorized as a score, although there is a song on it that has lyrics.
Well, we didn't say score album.
No,
we said score.
I went. Yeah,
right.
Very specific songs off album.
Yeah, no, it's true. So, it's the score or the theme songs included in those lyrics in it from Flash Gordon.
Really?
It's considered a score. Queen wrote the entire thing.
Queen wrote the entire album.
Brian and Freddie Mercury wrote the entire album. But you have obviously the Flash Gordon theme song, which everyone knows, but because it's Queen, and Queen's one of the best bands ever.
I don't think I've ever actually seen the movie, guys.
You're not missing a whole lot, but it's good. I mean, it's cheesy to the max, but.
But you have to check the box. You need to watch.
You need to check the box. And I mean, you're a music guy. Like, I don't know. Are you a Queen guy?
Yeah.
I love Queen.
Yeah. I mean.
So I'm gonna go the Flash Gordon score. Yeah.
Nice. All right. So I have a major honorable mention and then a minor.
Cool.
Major.
What German independent movie did you pick here?
No. This is much bigger. And Chris,
I know where he's going.
Touched on it. Blade Runner. So.
I thought you were going somewhere else.
Well, so we'll come back to what you think I was going for, because I don't think my other one is close to it either. So I'm probably just forgetting a movie. But Blade Runner, again, I've got a theme here: synthesizers and score. Vangelis' score for Blade Runner so underscores everything about that movie that I love, and about synthesizers and about the expansion of the tones that, in the old world, you had classical music. You had a wide variety of tones from brasses and winds and drums, but synths open this up so much. And you can use that really badly, or you can use it to just do stuff that's never been done before. And Vangelis on Blade Runner is so that's my 0, actually.
Yeah.
It's above 1.
That's your 0.
What's kind of weird about that is like, maybe it's because I saw Blade Runner much later on in life.
Yeah.
Which is fine, because if I was 8 years old, I wouldn't understand. Like it was probably a hard follow for a little kid. I can't. That's one of the few movies. Like most movies, like if you give me like the theme song, I can tell you what movies it's from.
Mm-hmm.
That one I can't do.
That one
I can't pick up any of the music out of that one.
No. See, my number 1 on, and DJ actually made me think of another, because the Flash Gordon was an excellent call, and much in the same vein. So I'll go with my original honorable mention, which ties back into my top sci-fi movie, E.T.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as you hear that music, that brings me right back to, I know DJ doesn't want to cry, but
I'm already getting.
That's one of those where it brings you back time and place. As soon as you hear the music, you're brought right back there.
Yeah, once again, because the GOAT.
Yeah.
It's like
you could have just gone with an entire John Williams catalog.
We might do that one
and
day.
Been fine. Yeah. The other one DJ made me just think of, and this is where I thought you were going, Sean, Batman.
So that's an excellent point.
And that's a nice one where it's much like the Flash Gordon, where Prince did lyrics and music. You have some that have.
But Danny Elfman's, 1989 Batman theme is fundamental. But the reason that I didn't even occur to me, even though I love that and clearly love so many things about that, love the Prince album, listen to that stupid Bat Dance song.
It's an interesting mix.
Yeah.
There's some of the instrumentals that Prince did as well.
Yeah.
But it's, musically, it doesn't do the same things for me that good scores for dramatic, right?
No, it plays very much
there's no
like a pop
emotion,
album.
right? Yeah.
You know why? Because you hear the Batman theme song, you're like, oh, it's Batman. Or is it Beetlejuice? Or wait, no, no, that's Edward Scissorhands.
Elfman's got a lot more range than that. But there's one I have to mention, technically an 80s movie, 1989, Field of Dreams. James Horner score. Not one I necessarily, like one of the reasons I don't know, I'll just say I love that, watching that movie, and the score to it is critical. And then final honorable mention is Platoon. But the use of a particular, so the ending of Platoon, the helicopter pulling away from the crater and destruction and death from the final battle as Charlie Sheen's hanging off the helicopter and we're just circling around that site. They're playing Barber's Adagio for strings. One of the most moving, sad, emotional pieces there are, and just such the perfect choice for that movie. But it makes me want to mention again my friend Harlan Feinstein. He and his wife Suzanne, both brass players, horn players, and at their wedding at Hammond Castle up the coast here a number of years ago, they actually played in like a double brass quintet in their wedding dress and tuxedo along with a bunch of their wedding party and played a few things, but they played a brass version of Adagio for strings that had me bawling. It was fantastic.
That's cool.
Yeah, so technically an 80s score.
Yeah, so like I said, the 80s had phenomenal music. It was just untouchable. So we went over so many of them. So my honorable.
I hope you took notes, DJ, because I've lost track of everything.
I think top 3 is losing its.
It is. This one it was because it's. But yeah, we're gonna tighten up right now. So I went honorable mention.
Screw that. Open it up.
Open it up.
There's more stuff to talk about.
Honorable mention. I went Flash Gordon, and then I went number 3 Tron, number 2 Raiders of the Lost Ark, number 1 Empire Strikes Back. Sean had number 3 was
Koyaanisqatsi.
Yeah, that
should have made him say it.
Sounds like a vodka. And then number 2, you had Top Gun.
Harold Faltermeyer.
Yep. And then number 1 was Princess Bride.
Right.
And then honorable mention was
Blade Runner and Platoon and Field of Dreams. Yeah.
Everything else he thought of.
We went a little nuts on this one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Chris, no, it's okay. Chris started with Witches of Eastwick.
Nice.
Which was, I did not see that one coming. Then you went to, number 1 was Chariots of Fire. Number 2 was
Axel F. Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh, yeah. It was Beverly Hills Cop score. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then we honorable mentioned
E.T.
E.T. So very John Williams heavy.
Sure.
But it is what it is. It's when you talk about music.
Movie scores,
Hey, he's the goat.
80s.
He's the GOAT,
He's
so.
the GOAT.
He did it all.
Yeah, so that was this one. So like I said, if anyone has any suggestions for top threes or show ideas or anything like that, you can hit us up at FMen37 on Twitter. I'm at Dejonaut. Sean's at Vacaboca. Chris is at Chris
Davis.
Davis
underscore 37.
I'm
yeah.
gonna have
By
to
the
get
time
that
we hit episode like 50.
I'm gonna
Okay,
get it tattooed on the inside of my hand so I always know it.
Not
Yeah,
recommended.
also follow us on iTunes or Google Play or SoundCloud. Feel free to leave us reviews. Don't blast us too hard, but we always like hearing about stuff.
Hit us up on Facebook.
Hit us up on Facebook. I'm working on that. I'm trying to get more pictures up and all that stuff. And we're gonna have to dip back into the other side of. We're gonna have to do soundtracks pretty soon. So we'll have that one. We'll work on that one too, and we'll find out what Chris just bought. Coming soon.
Coming soon.
Coming soon.
Same fan time, same fan channel.
That's a little on the nose, but I like it.
Yeah. Have a good one, everybody.
Bye.
Later.